Hello, welcome to my second stream of the night in which I talk about Wonder Woman number 800 and the many issues of celebration that DC has done for Wonder Woman since Rebirth started in 2016. Um, this is my copy of Wonder Woman number 800. I got a main cover by Yannick Paquette and Nathan Fairburn. I've had the pleasure to meet Yannick Paquette at least once, and he was really nice. I love his bright colors and thick lines, they're just really appealing. Although the Donsons, and Emanuela Lupacchino look really similar to each other sometimes, but they're really fun. So um, I haven't been subscribed to the main Wonder Woman series. I didn't actually get the previous issue, even though it's technically a two-parter. I think it works reasonably well on its own. Um, so I decided to go back through all my Wonder Woman, and I pulled them all out. So I'll show you. I was kind of excited about this 800 issue because I decided to get the Flash 800 issue. So I've got Wonder Woman and Flash 800. Even though I'm not as big of a Flash fan as I am a Wonder Woman fan, I only have one run of the Flash by Jeremy Adams. But I love this run so much that I decided to get the foil variant by Francis Manapul. Also, I love the way they did the lightning and sparkles around the Flash family, and the fact that they did the Flash family, which is why I love this run. But I wanted to get the main cover too because I just love this run, and this is the main cover that matches the other covers from the run by Taurin Clark, and it shows the interior, like it reflects what happens inside the book. So Flash 800 sort of inspired this. I don't know if I would have gotten Wonder Woman 800 by itself. Probably would though, because I really like Wonder Woman. Here's my collection of Wonder Woman single issues, and this is not just the Wonder Woman title; it's also things like Sensational Wonder Woman, the Legend of Wonder Woman, Sensation Comics featuring Wonder Woman, and a couple other things like that. Because Wonder Woman actually originally had two. Superman was Superman and Action Comics, and Batman was Batman and Detective Comics. I really wish that they would run a second title for Wonder Woman called Sensation Comics. But they keep trying to do it, but they do it wrong. They do it as a digital first anthology. That's the wrong way to do it. If you want a Wonder Woman title to sell, you have to tell an ongoing story that matters to the main story. They got to go back and forth and matter. And I just think that they've done it all wrong. But they don't listen to me, and I'm sure they have like their own numbers and everything. But I just think that trying to do digital first anthologies for Wonder Woman in Sensation Comics is a waste of the concept, and it's never worked. I also have my trades. I only have 6 trades. I have this Legend of Wonder Woman, which is a great, actually, sort of year one in the 1940s when Wonder Woman was originally done, sort of like an Ultimate Comics version, done by Renee DeLise. Unfortunately, there was never a volume 2 like there was planned. Unfortunately, the writer and her husband, who does the lettering for her comics, they didn't make friends at DC, and they're kind of bad business people sometimes. So I think they got themselves in trouble, which is really a shame because they're great creators in terms of what they can create. I also have this Wonder Woman Year One. It's my second favorite Year One of all time by Greg Rucka. And I also have this Sensation Comics collection, and that was actually just for Drew Johnson, who did the art for a lot of Greg Rucka's run. And Greg Rucka's run in 3 volumes. I read this first in 2011, just before the New 52, and I just fell in love with Wonder Woman, and then the New 52 threw it all away. So I am still bitter about the New 52, largely because of both Wonder Woman and Stephanie Brown. But Greg Rucka made me fall in love with Wonder Woman. I collected every single issue of his Rebirth run, and I still cherish that run. So keep that in mind as we go through our special celebration editions. So, first up in 2016 was Wonder Woman 75th anniversary special. I got the variant cover by Nicola Scott because she did some of the great work on both Greg Rucka and Gail Simone's Wonder Woman runs. She also did Some really great work on Black Magic with Greg Rucka, which is an Image title. The main cover was by Jim Lee, and I like Nicholas Scott on Wonder Woman, so this is what I went with. This has a bunch of short stories, a lot of which are fun, a lot of solid talent. The highlight of the piece for me is Greg Rucka. He did sort of a in-between prose piece where Lois Lane interviews Wonder Woman and has some spot illustrations and a illustrated epilogue by Liam Sharp, who is doing the art for the main timeline Wonder Woman stuff. So this is a really fun thing. I was subscribed to Wonder Woman, but it's not included, which is really stupid. These celebration editions are really great, but only if you know they're coming. That's part of the problem, is if you don't know they're coming, then you miss them, and then you're sad. The second celebration is Wonder Woman number 34, also known as Wonder Woman 700. So this is actually just a normal issue of Wonder Woman. It was during James Robinson's run, which was the second major run in Rebirth. There was a small issue by Shea Fontana, but James Robinson did a big run from issue, I want to say 3 to I think 49, or right around 40. So it was a good couple of years. It was still double shipping, so Rebirth did a lot of double shipping, which is how they kept it at $2.99 or $3 a comic, 20 pages instead of 22 pages. They've gone up and down on those things, but whenever they go down to $3 a comic, they also go down to 20 pages, pretty much. I just got this for the comic. I didn't read the run. I've read pieces of it, which is why I haven't read the whole thing, because I hated it. I reread this last night, and it is awful. There's a joke that Wonder Woman fans like to tell, which is James Robinson's run should be called The Adventures of Jason and His Terrible, Incompetent, Stupid Sister Wonder Woman. Because Jason is the character who seems to be most competent and coolest and gets all the attention, and Wonder Woman shows up and she is punked constantly by her jerk of a brother. And I tend to think that that is pretty accurate, and I don't like Jason. I don't like the fact that Wonder Woman has a twin brother. I don't like the fact that Wonder Woman has siblings, because she should be a Clay. She shouldn't be the daughter of Zeus. And a lot of people try and bring the Clay back, but they're not allowed to do it explicitly by DC, so that's really frustrating. Now, this is Wonder Woman 750. I bought the George Perez cover. I've never read the whole George Perez run. I've read a couple arcs, but I just loved this cover. And the main cover by Joel Jones was really boring. It had like a plain blue background. This has just so much going on. It's got the classic George Perez Wonder Woman hair and the lasso, and it's in that 80s style because he did the 80s. I love the fact that they did this with him. They got a lot of the artists who did Wonder Woman in the various times to do the decade variants for this 750, and this went along with what was it called, the Detective Comics 1000, Action Comics 1000. So this is the Wonder Woman version. Unlike those, it has a 20-page story by the current writer Steve Orlando and the current artist Jesus Marino. A bunch of other stories, including one by Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott. Unfortunately, I didn't really like that one because it was so focused on Cheetah, and I understand what Rucka is doing. He really liked what he did with Cheetah, but it felt like a rehash. It did not feel like it added anything. His writing, as always, was really good. It felt like a rehash. It didn't feel like something fun. Unlike the special story he did for the 2017 Very DC Rebirth special, which was a Christmas story. Actually, it was Winter Solstice with Batman and Wonder Woman. And that was really lovely. Art by Bilquis Evely, who did the art for the second half of the past set issues of Rucka's run, with one issue off by Mark Andolfo. And woof, that issue was very spicy. Oh, goodness gracious. I didn't love this issue. I bought both I bought my favorite covers of Detective Comics and Action Comics, and I also got the deluxe edition. I didn't get the deluxe edition of 750. I didn't like the other covers enough to go for it, and I didn't And they didn't really go all out on the special, like there were a ton of retailer exclusives that the deluxe editions included, which I loved. They didn't really do that for Wonder Woman. The next thing they ran in, I want to say this is 2020. No, it's 2021. So in 2021, 2 years ago, they ran the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary special. So this is similar to the 75th anniversary special. I got the Jen Bartel Wonder Woman costume wraparound cover. Really like this. Love Jen Bartel's faces. She really captures the joy. They had Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad and Jim Chung do a story. Only a, I think, 10 to 12 page story connected to their run where Wonder Woman was sort of dead and gone, and then she comes back. And then they also had Jordi Belair do a young Diana, which he did a lot of backups. Writer-artist Amy Reeder did a story, Mark Waid, and legend Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Tom King did a Wonder Woman story. This is long before Tom King was going to be the new Wonder Woman writer, and he did sort of a spoof of the Denny O'Neil era, and I actually kind of like it. Interestingly, Scott Snyder wrote a Wonder Woman story in Wonder Woman 750. I really didn't like it. Brian Hitch did a really good job, but it was Wonder Woman completely from the outside, and she's only in like 3 pages of the 10 pages. It was really frustrating. It had almost no character. She's just purely a symbol. And Greg Rucka actually wrote Diana in his first run, primarily from the outside, other characters being inspired and looking at her experiences. But he still really gives us a sense of her personality. Scott Snyder gave us 0 personality. Tom King gave us a lot of personality. Tom King kind of has several, like 5 or 6 voices that he tends to cycle through. There's, of course, his sad man who's been at war. There's bad girl, who is very bad, but also very lovable. There's good girl, who can be very cranky, but she's very lovable. And then there's stupid man, who swears a lot. And it's just like, he's got these voices that he tends to cycle through. And his Diana is the good woman, who is very lovable. And it sounds so, I don't know, it's very interesting knowing that Tom King is going to be writing Wonder Woman, reading his 10-page short in the back of Wonder Woman 800 today, where he introduces Lizzie, the daughter of Diana, an unknown man. I personally hope that it turns out that she's a Clay daughter, because I am tired of not having Clay daughters, but we'll see. It feels like they're going to lean into baby father drama for like the ongoing marketing hook for this run, which is smart. I'm not going to say it's not smart, but I do think it's annoying. I love the art by Daniel Sampere. I was really tempted to go with the Daniel Sampere variant, but I went with the Yannick Paquette because it has that big 800. I want that 800 to match my Flash and to match my 700. And I really dig it. The art for the main story by Becky Cloonan. So unlike Flash, which did 5 10-page shorts, which was really fun, but it did feel a little disjointed. This is just 2 stories. A 29-page main story by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad and 4 different artists. Let's see if I can pull the artists. So that's Joelle Jones, Aletha Martinez, Mark Morales, Nick Robles, Todd Nauk, Skylar Partridge, Cully Hamner, and Jen Bartel. So there's more like 7 artists. Sorry. It's a lot of artists. They're all really good. I am a little frustrated that they didn't go with all of them, although it was really nice to have Jen Bartel back. She did the great Immortal Wonder Woman miniseries back in Future State with Cloonan and Conrad. And then Daniel Sampere does the Trinity story. This, of course, was one of the variant covers that you could get. He really reminds me of Clayman. He didn't remind me of Clayman when he was doing Dark Crisis with Josh Williamson, but I don't know what it is. But when he's doing this, well, it could be the colorist. Yeah, it is Tomomori who does coloring for Clayman too. Who colored Dark Crisis? I actually don't know who colored Dark Crisis. Let me look that up real quick. All right, Dark Crisis. Where's number 1? You are kidding me. There we go. Dark Crisis main story. Going on DCFandom.com. Being very slow. All right, so colorist is Alejandro Sanchez. So Alejandro Sanchez, I'm not as familiar with his work, but I think he tends to go, from what I remember reading Dark Crisis, for much more broad color sheets, like not a lot of CGI rendering or shading going on in the colors, which has a pleasing effect on the eye. Not that CGI shading doesn't have a pleasing effect, but it's just very different. Tomu Morii has a much more shaded, much more textured and rendered way of coloring. He is one of the top colorists. He's worked mostly with the Bat books. He's very high profile. I think he got his start with Tony Daniel, although I think Tony Daniel still does it, but he doesn't have the inker he used to anymore. He inks himself now. I don't remember who used to ink Tony Daniel. But Tomu Morii colors Clayman in Batman Catwoman, and also, of course, the main Batman run. He did most of the coloring. There were a couple. Lee Weeks was colored by Elizabeth Breitweiser for 3 issues, and then Goran Sudzuku. I could be wrong on that, but it wasn't Tomu Morii when he did his Nightmares issue. But Tomu Morii has a very strong, like, you can start to recognize the way he colors, and I think that's why it feels so much like Clayman, because of the coloring by Tomu Morii. I actually really dislike Tomu Morii's colors when he's working with Tony Daniel. When he's working with anyone else, I really enjoy him. I don't know what it is about the way he works with Tony Daniel, but it looks rubbery, is the way I always explain it. But right here, it looks great. It looks gritty. It looks, it's not faded, but it's still got that sort of semi-sepia tone. It just feels like it's slightly washed out, but not washed out in a Zack Snyder way. It's washed out in a way that makes it feel more serious and more intense, but not in a way that makes everything feel almost black and white. So I really like Tomu Morii's colors on that. Yeah, so that is my collection of Wonder Woman specials. I'll go through them again real briefly. We've got 75th anniversary, number 700, terrible issue. I only bought this for the cover. 750, great George Perez cover. Wonder Woman 80th anniversary special, and Wonder Woman 800. Oh, and I wanted to highlight one more thing. On the 75th anniversary special, they did a logo for Wonder Woman 75, and they did this for Batman too. They also did Wonder Woman 80th, and this is the 80th logo. It's really pretty. It looks sort of, it's Wonder Woman looking up, but you have the red and the blue interlocking to make the W, and the tiara sort of making the little dip in the middle. It's a gorgeously designed little logo, and I love the fact that they did a 75 and an 80th for her. I am curious to know if they're going to start doing 85ths. That is coming up for Batman and Superman soon, and it will be for Wonder Woman. I don't think they did, no, they did 80ths for Batman and Superman. We'll have to see if they do 85ths. I feel like 90th will be more important, and then we'll see if they do 95th. They'll definitely do 100th when, in 10 years, when we get to 1939, 1940, and 1943. Or 1941 or 2. Whenever Wonder Woman's thing. I think it's 1. So that is my Wonder Woman stream. Thanks for joining me. And go ahead and check out Wonder Woman 800. See if you want to jump on Tom King's run in September. See how Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan ended Wonder Woman for their run. Have a great night.